My amplified unit, salute! Welcome back to the coffee bar. This is your Smackdown review for 8/16/24. I, of course, will be your host, B. Motherfucking C. Before we go a step further, I'm gonna need you guys to go ahead and smash that up. The platform, YouTube, isn't too happy with BC these days. The thumbnails and the headlines I put up, it's not exactly up to the standards and practices of YouTube. So they're not exactly in a hurry to promote my content. But that's all right. If you guys want to make sure BC is staying on the platform, rocking out content, you can still help by smashing that up. Something simple like that, totally free. Go ahead and give that like button and ooh yeah, Macho Man elbow from the top. Or a Kairi Sane elbow, right? That's up to par with Macho Man's. That elbow would make Macho Man proud. Kairi's. So no matter whose elbow you're dropping, drop it on that like button. Or strap it into the figure 4 leg lock. Old school Ric Flair, make that like button tap out. But go ahead, smash that like button. It greatly helps out the channel. Doesn't just let BC know that you are fully amplified for the upload, but it also helps out that algorithm. And while you're at it, you might as well smash everything down there, right? The subscription, the notification bell. Just start smashing all of it, right? Like you grab a steel chair and hit every bell down there, hit every button. Support the channel. Keep BC rocking on the tube. I appreciate it. If you want to go that extra mile as well, we have channel memberships. Never needed, always appreciated. You can always join who I call the board of directors of the channel. And my channel members will tell you, I do put them to work. That's why I call them the board of directors, not just channel members. Especially live streams like the good, the bad, and the ugly reviews of pay-per-views, PLEs. I'm always looking for those gold cards. And now, if you've been a channel member for a year or plus, those amplified stars. And soon, if you've been a member for 2 years, you're going to get that golden coffee. But the point is, I'm looking for those badges after those names because those are the ones I can depend on. Those are the ones that questions are going to be asked to. And they're going to greatly help out those reviews, especially. So channel members, this is a good time to say thank you big time. Every single subscriber on this channel that has a badge after their name. That gold card, that gold star, or soon to be that gold coffee. Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys are rocking out. And because of you guys, BC gets to rock out on this platform. All right, for this show. Now that I got that out of the way, full transparency, I do have to tell you guys, man, FYI, most of you are all getting this on a Saturday-ish, I believe. But we are recording this late Friday. The show just went off the air roughly a half an hour ago. So this is being recorded right after SmackDown. You guys will get it the next morning. And I'm giving you guys that info, right? FYI, just in case there's an injury report or breaking news from tonight's show. I am not privy to that knowledge as of right now. Show just went off the air. I got all my notes. I did my due diligence. And this is just going to be a review on the show itself in totality. So any news afterwards that you guys are getting, I probably have received it as well. But we just can't talk about it now because I don't have it yet. The show just went off the air. But it doesn't look like there was any big injuries or anything like that. Again, we'll wait and see. Doesn't look like anything went off kilter or off script. So it looks like it was a pretty standard show. My cold open is pretty much short and sweet. I know I said that last week and it went about 23 minutes. But my cold open is simple. This show, in totality, it's a simply booked show. I mean, it was a bunch of good wrestling matches. Absolutely good. But, I mean, nothing of substance storyline that would make you have to tune in next week, right? The biggest part of this show was the end of it, when Roman was dismantled by the Bloodline, more specifically Jacob Fatu. The beginning of the show I really liked. It had so much potential, and I know it had to do with Nia Jax in her celebration, but it was actually well done at the start of it. By the end of this segment, it left a lot more to be desired, but at first, I didn't mind the beginning of it. The end was the best part of the night. And the whole bulk was good wrestling matches, like I said, which is always nice, right? You got good wrestling matches on a wrestling show. What a concept. But I can see great wrestling every day of the week, twice on Friday, 3 times Saturday, 4 times on Sunday, right? The local bingo hall has great wrestling every single night. When you're dedicating your prime time every single night to pro wrestling, you're hoping for a little bit more. These type of shows are great for the live crowd. Orlando was jacked up the entire night, right? You're seeing good wrestler A versus good wrestler B. You're probably going to get a good wrestling match. And then you put another good wrestler out there with another good wrestler, and you have another good wrestling match. And then you put a good tag team out there with another good tag team, and you get a good tag match. And Orlando is yelling, "This is awesome," the whole night. But for a lot of fans at home, I mean, yeah, we're watching a good match, but what's it leading to? What are we? I mean, you're not jumping on your couch going, "This is awesome." Or maybe you are. I don't know. BC was not doing that for sure. I had a coffee in one hand. I got my notes in the other. And I'm waiting for something to really kick in storyline-wise. I just didn't get that all night. The mid-card is pretty much status quo, standard AF. Tag team division, man, if we got a tag team match like we did last night all the time, and there was an actual division to care about, that would be so much more special what we saw tonight between DIY and Street Profits, because that was really good. And it makes you sad to know that there is no real division. So what's this really leading to? Profits are just going to lose to the Bloodline, right? In 2 weeks at Bash in Berlin. Or the only alternative is Profits win the titles, but then you have 4 different title holders in less than 2 months. Waller and Theory, who passed it to DIY, who 28 days later passed it to the Bloodline, who just 2 to 3 weeks afterwards would then give it to Street Profits. You cannot play hot potato like that. Or at least you shouldn't. So it's either you play hot potato, you continue to play hot potato, or you just have the Street Profits. All of this was just, right, the win last week, the win over DIY this week, and then they just go and they lose to Bloodline. I don't know. It's odd booking, but we'll check it out. I mean, I hope to be live for Bash in Berlin with you guys covering the event. Live watch along, live review, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm hoping it's good, right? SummerSlam's card didn't make a lot of sense to me, but SummerSlam ended up being really good. We're hoping Bash in Berlin's the same, because so far, the card is mind-boggling to most fans. That's the good news. Most wrestling fans, we don't agree on everything, not even a lot at times. But this is one of those things where even Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, people are like, what? It's a storyline where even Kevin Owens is like, what? My win-loss record, what? That doesn't even make sense. You know, when the challenger is saying that, and most fans are actually agreeing, something is a little off. So we'll see, man. But it's a tag division that greatly needs a lot of help. And tonight's tag match, it's like a sign of hope, right? Like a pulse. Like if several other things are put in place correctly and more care and effort is put into this division, man, what you saw tonight is like a foundation, right? Like a little trampoline. You can bounce off of this and get so much momentum, catapult yourself for success. I just don't know if Hunter Hearst Helmsley cares too much about the tag division to spend that type of energy. We'll go over it, right? That was the main event, DIY Street Profits. And like I said, just the whole bulk of this show was a bunch of wrestling matches that were good. That's the good news. Bad news, the bulk of the show was a bunch of wrestling matches. And that's that. And they were all rematch. I called this, literally, guys, I started very early on in the notes calling this Rematch Mania. Nearly, if not all, matches were rematches. I don't know about Street Profits DIY. But every other match you saw tonight, pretty much a rematch. And not just like once, but like several times. And the big match they're promoting next week for the U.S. title, Escobar and LA Knight, guys, that's a rematch times 7 by the time we see it next week. So that's what I mean, too. It's not just like a bunch of wrestling matches, but at least they're good. It's, you know, if you're not there live yelling, "This is awesome," for every match, if you're just at home and you're watching the same people have the same wrestling match, it doesn't hit nearly the same. And that's the problem. We're starting to see the same matches over and over, and that makes a very repetitive, a very redundant mid-card division. And when you're already hurting with your women's division, and you're already hurting with your tag division, you don't want to hurt with your entire mid-card division too. But here we are. The highlight of the night, easily, Roman Reigns taking out Solo, and then Roman being dismantled by Jacob Fatu and being Shield powerbombed through the commentary table. That was the highlight. That commentary table breaking every single Friday night is also becoming very redundant, though. I'm telling you right now. I don't care if that sounds nitpicking or not. That's, guys, every single Friday night, I feel like that table is breaking. I don't care if it's a face sending a heel or a heel sending a face. We have to think of something new. I like the finish. I would have liked it a lot more if they kept the commentary table intact, because that, to me, is when I was like, no, not again, man. Doesn't matter if it's Randy Orton going through it, Kevin Owens going through it, Cody Rhodes going through it, Solo Sikoa going through it, Roman Reigns going through it. Every Friday night, somebody goes through that table. Can we do something different to end the show? But I digress, because that was the best part of it. Let's go over it. That's the cold open. I wish I could ooze out all of this positivity. I wish I could tell you how amazing this show was, because I know there's gonna be fans. There's supporters of this channel, subscribers to this channel that'll probably go, "Basically, this was an amazing show." Were you there in Orlando? Because maybe if you were there in Orlando, I could see. But if you were just watching this at home on a Friday night, amazing? Let's go over it. Maybe it was amazing. Let's do this review, guys. Let's start from the very top, and we'll go. So Nia Jax starts this show with her championship celebration. If I can untangle it. If you guys only knew how many wires and cords it takes to put on this production for you guys. And the more microphones that I blow out from being amplified, the more cords it takes. But Nia Jax's championship celebration, and yes, it's 2 weeks later, right? SummerSlam was 2 weeks ago. But because they ran out of time last Friday night, they DOS booted Nia's segment. So it got booted to this week. So here we are 2 weeks later, and now we are just getting to the celebration for Nia Jax. I love how it was done, though, with Tiffany Stratton, right? Throwing the party, throwing the celebration. And everything is totally tiffed out. Right, you had white and pink balloons everywhere. It was like a really bad, I think Chelsea Green put it best later in the show. She was like, it was like a really bad Sweet 16. Right? All these white and pink balloons everywhere. There was unicorns peeking out from all the balloons. Yes, unicorns. Pretty Deadly was out there. I have no idea why, but I didn't really question it because Pretty Deadly looks like they would belong with Tiffany Stratton, don't they? Like Pretty Deadly alongside Tiffany Stratton. I didn't even blink. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But Pretty Deadly was out there. And Champagne on Ice. So, I mean, Tiffany went all out. She was like a wedding planner, right? She went all out. She had her little clipboard. She made sure that everything was good. And then Nia Jax comes to the ring like a queen amongst peasants, right? She's being carried to the ring by, I believe, like 4 dudes on her royal throne. Like Macho Man used to be carried to the ring when he was the Macho King. And he had Sensational Sherry, back then Queen Sherry, right by his side. And they would be carried out. So I just thought that was so well done. And Nia Jax is all in white. But from the jump, Tiffany Stratton starting the show, I mean, I put Tiffany Stratton on a pedestal for a reason, because I feel more Tiffany Stratton benefits everybody. It benefits the show, it benefits the ratings, it benefits the company, it benefits all of us, because it's Tiffy time. We all know that. And lately, I just don't feel like she's getting enough time. She has the briefcase, but it's kind of like she's just a passing moment in these shows. There should be more Tiffany Stratton. You got to put more emphasis on the women's division anyway. And And Tiffany Stratton, you would think would be a big focal point of that, but she's playing the wedding planner. Either way, this was going off pretty good. She starts the show. She brings out Nia. Nia comes out being carried on her royal throne, all in white. I'm thinking, hey, this is a pretty good way to start the show. I just felt this segment had so much potential going for it. Pretty Deadly then go into a full-fledged Broadway musical celebration for Nia. like I was like, all right, this is, you know what I mean? Like it's growing, right? Like a boulder coming down that mountain and just collecting steam and a whole lot more snow, but it's collecting more steam. It's building momentum. It is getting bigger as it tumbles. Like this celebration's getting deeper. I hope they have something really good planned. And all of a sudden, Mia Yim attacks from behind with a kendo stick. Tiffy is dropped. Pretty Deadly is pretty much assaulted from the kendo stick. And maybe Nia took one kendo stick shot, but for the most part, Nia was able to escape. And then backstage, Nia Jax, or Mia Yim, comes out of Nick Aldis's office. And Mia tells Meechin, I still call her Mia Yim. She's always going to be Mia Tabisi. Mia tells Chelsea and Piper she got a title match with Nia. So Nia comes out of nowhere backstage, takes out Mia Yim. And Nick Aldis comes out of his office and starts yelling at Nia and yells at her to go into his office. Like a kid getting yelled at and going to the principal's office. And Nia was like, come on, she started it. And Nick Aldis is like, get in my office. So Nia actually goes into his office, and that ends the backstage segment. It was just funny, man. It was like getting to the principal's office. BC knows that all too well. So, but for the first segment, this segment just had so much potential. A Mia Yim attack left more to be desired. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that, right? Because again, I love I applaud the effort, right? It felt special from the beginning. The whole pomp and circumstance, the balloons, the celebration, the party atmosphere, whether it was tacky as all hell or not. It's Tiffany Stratton. It's supposed to be tacky. It's supposed to be Barbied out. The addition of Pretty Deadly, I thought, was actually spot on. Bringing Nia down on a royal throne. There was so much like that was just put into this, and it was all for Mia Yim, Meechin, attacking with a kendo stick, leading to a Nia Mia rematch, by the way. Rematch Mania, I told you. This was Rematch Mania. Whether rematch after rematch in the show itself tonight, or just matches that are being set up. It's a bunch of rematches. But Nia and Meech, oh man, it had so much potential, guys. So much. Again, I applaud the effort. It just ran out of steam at the end. I was expecting something. I was really hoping for something big, and then I saw Mia come in, and I'm like, what's Mia doing? I thought she was playing around NXT. I thought she was trying to get Shotzi Blackheart to be a tag team with her. And then, before we get into our first matchup of the night, backstage, Melo comes across Naomi, Bianca, and Jade Cargill. Melo asks if they're going to his after party after he beats Andrade. Jade says, isn't he 2 up on you? Good luck. And they all start laughing at Melo as they walk away. To which Melo puts on his headphones and Melo says, but you're watching my matches though. For them to know that he's 2 up. Melo's like, but you're watching my matches, ain't you? It's the old saying, guys. The old saying, haters are some of your biggest fans, right? And it is oh so true. If you truly can't stand something, you just wouldn't watch it, right? Like BC can't stand golf, I won't watch golf. But if someone claims they can't stand you, but they follow all you do, they're fans. They're fans. So the old saying is haters are some of your biggest fans. And that's basically what Melo was presenting, right? He turned around with a smile after they walked off laughing at him. Put on his headphones, but you watching my matches though. I just thought that was great. And then this led into our first match of the night. This was Andrade versus Melo. If you're keeping score, this is the third time we've seen this match in the last 5 weeks. Rematch Mania. Andrade pinned Melo on the 7-19 and the 8-2 Smackdowns. So that's recently. 2 pinfalls, Andrade over Melo. So Melo needed this W, right? That's pretty obvious. And if you look at his scoreboard, he's had 20 main roster matches. 20. He's only won 5. Melo has had 20 main roster matches. He's only won 5. One of those 20 was a draw. I do want to put an asterisk in this. One of those 20 was a draw. It was on speed of all. Speed. But it's considered the main roster, so we do have to count it. And it was a draw against Dragunov. That's the best way you're going to book Dragunov, by the way. A speed draw. But if you take away that, then you can say he's 5 of 19. But because that does have to be added in, it's 20 matches. He's only won 5. Basically, guys, he has a winning percentage of 25. Melo wins 25% of his matches. This is a dude whose slogan is Melo don't miss. 25%. So that's what I mean when I say Melo needed this W. It sucks because Andrade is starting to get momentum, I guess. So you just have him lose to the dude he's been beating? But I guess they backed themselves into a corner and a rock in a hard spot, and that's the only thing they could do. Sure enough, match itself was roughly 10 minutes. Not that it matters, because the crowd was going to chant, "This is awesome," no matter what. I think they did it for every match last night. Or tonight. By the time you guys see this, it'll be last night. Every match. And it was good wrestling. And if you're there live, all right, you want to do all the chants. You paid your money, you're going to chant, damn it. But Melo did pin Andrade, guys. And he did it via the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up. The fruit roll-up, man. We haven't done that in a minute. That's not saying there hasn't been fruit roll-ups. Yeah, that was rough. That was rough watching Andrade just lose like that. But it's the booking, man. You know, we're not supposed to say it, right? Hunter Hearst Helmsley's cooking. Man, you can't, man. There's got to be better ways to do that, man. Andrade's firing on all cylinders. He's rocking out. He's got the crowd firmly behind him, and he just gets held down. And if you're wondering, because, he had the legs he's holding the legs down, but trapping the arms. So you're like, it's not a traditional fruit roll-up, BC. I call anything where you're getting, if you're new to the channel, if you're just being held down, there's no finisher being done. No finisher was done to you. You're not knocked out. You haven't been sent for a loop. You're just being held down. I don't care how you're being held down. I count that as a fruit roll-up. Because you're just being held down, man. You just got to get your shoulder just a centimeter. Andrade's got muscles, man. He's bigger than Melo. You can't get one of your shoulders a centimeter off the canvas? I don't know if these referees would count it anyway after watching what Randy Orton did with Gunther. Half his body was up and the referee's like, 3! I saw nothing. And then you go to Damian Priest, Seth Rollins. That's when the referee stops counting and there's no shoulder up. So with the referees' track records these days, who knows if they would even count it, but that was rough watching Andrade just lose like that after supposedly having this dude build momentum the last month. But again, they had to give this over to Melo. They didn't want to make it seem too decisive, like Andrade got knocked out and was pinned. So they were just like, let's catch Andrade off guard. Shock him with the roll-up. Hold him down. And Andrade's like, I can't get up, like the kid in the Christmas Story, right? The little brother in the big Christmas suit. And he falls and he can't get up because the outfit, the suit, the onesie, that freaking snowsuit is so bulky the little kid can't flip. He can't get up, he can't flip over. He's like a turtle. Well, that's basically how half the roster is these days when they get rolled up. They just can't get up. And yeah, to BC, it's absolutely laughable. Or at least at one point. Now it's just depressing to watch these wrestlers get rolled up like that. But like I said, big W because it was needed for Melo. Post-match, they just brawled. So, you're getting a 4. You're getting Melo and Andrade 4. I know. BC, if they wrestle like that, you can have them wrestle 400 times. Do not speak for BC on that. No, I will not want to watch this 400 times. I've already started to see some of the same sequences we saw in the first 2 matches, by the way. That's what I mean. You're going to come across really smart wrestling fans where even if they don't want to, they're going to remember these sequences. BC, a lot of these rematches, I was already picking up on sequences I already saw. That's what I mean about redundancy. That's why rematches so close together are not good. Just because a lot of fans eat it up doesn't mean a lot of other fans are absolutely spitting it back out. We went into Naomi, Blair, Davenport. If you guys are wondering, just like Andrade and Melo, right? This is Rematch Mania. Just like Andrade and Melo, this is Naomi and Blair's 3rd time facing one another in a short amount of time. Naomi defeated Davenport and Indy Hartwell in a Smackdown 3-way June 27th. And then Naomi defeated Davenport one-on-one via pinfall on SmackDown just a few weeks ago, July 12th. So on this one, just like the Melo scenario where Melo had to beat Andrade because you booked it so awkwardly, you got to have Naomi in her hometown of Orlando. You have to have Naomi lose, and sure enough, Davenport pins Naomi following a knee to the dome piece. So, big victory for Davenport, I guess. And if you're wondering, this is just leading to a 6-woman tag next week. Jade, Bianca, Naomi versus Davenport and your tag title holders, Alba and Isla. But so this rematch just flipped it back over to the person that's been losing the last 2 times previous. So this is exactly like Melo Andrade, just flipped for the ladies. Back to back. Then you went into hour number 2. This was Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller. You guessed it, right? The theme of the night, Rematch Mania. So it's not a question of if these two have faced one another, right? Kevin Owens and Grayson Waller. The question is just how many times? Well, in the last half year, whether it was Waller or Theory or a tag team bout, Owens has faced them 8 times on SmackDown. Half a year, 8 times. Wild, right? You don't think about it sometimes, right? You're taking in anything that the company has given you, right? And you're just hoping for a good show and you want to just spew positivity. So whatever Hunter Hearst Helmsley and WWE is throwing at you, you're just like, please, sir, can I have some more? But there's a lot of us that are like, wait, man. Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller on a SmackDown, man. I feel like I've seen this once, twice, or 10 times. We have. Or what was it? What I say? 8 times. So 9 times now. So excuse us if we're not there live, if it's not as fun for a lot of us, man. And that's what's happening here. That's why I bring up all of these rematches, right? That's why I bring it up and how many times. Because for a lot of us, this is not fun. It has to be better. Anyway, Ethan Page, the NXT champion, is in attendance as they're in Orlando, so they want some NXT talent to just be showcased, right? Show the casual fans that don't really know a lot about NXT, don't really know Ethan Page, right? Just showcase them. Try to slowly but surely get people introduced, because Ethan Page, for somebody like Kevin Owens, definitely looking forward to that down the line. So Ethan Page is there with his NXT title. Owens pins Waller via stunner pop-up powerbomb combo. So this was just both, because Kevin Owens, he said it again last night, by the way. Backstage before the match, he told Waller in Theory, he's like, no, just, laugh it up. Talk about how I don't deserve a title match bash in Berlin, because I agree with you. Like I said last week, he said, look at my win-loss record. So for those saying, oh, BC, you're always looking at the stats and you're always in the win-loss record, just relax and try to have fun with the shows. I am, trust me. But the win-loss records, they're very meaningful, right? It tells the story as to why a wrestler doesn't feel special or why the booking is being detrimental or really helping an individual, right? The stats will tell us that. But I love the fact that somebody like Kevin Owens, the wrestlers are telling you, yeah, the win-loss column, that matters, man. Because that's how everyone's going to perceive you. right? If you lose all the time, it's going to be hard to get fans to back you and support you because nobody wants to back a loser who's always just choking. Right? You want to back a winner. You want to back somebody that you know they don't just have the heart, but they have the wherewithal to pick up more W's than L's. So Kevin Owens is on this kick where he's like, listen, I know my win-loss record is horrible this last year. So this was one of those matches where you just get them back on track. Get those W's, as many as you can fit in before 2 weeks from now, Bash in Berlin, where he's going to be going for a title. That was one of those deals. Just pick up a W for Kevin Owens. Post-match, Waller and Theory on the attack. Cody Rhodes for the save. And the faces clear the ring. The heels are in... the heels are in, what's the word I always want? Retrieve. Retreat, not retrieve. They were just trying to retreat. That's the word I was looking at. It's late, guys. It's late on a Friday. This is the only time I can get this review out for you guys, man. Or at least recorded. It'll be out in the morning. But this was the only time I can record this. We're totally packed up for the weekend. But the faces clear the ring. The best part of this was Cody Rhodes in the tank. Right? Cody's in the tank and sweats. I'm like, thank you. Right? Dude, you're going to a brawl. Leave the suit behind, dog. Leave the suit behind. And he came out in a tank and sweats like he was ready for a brawl. Like he was running out to brawl. Is that so much to ask, man? That's all we ask. That's all we're asking for, bro. But I will say, guys, the best part of that too. The best part of that too is at the end when Cody went to pick up his championship. Kevin Owens grabbed it first, and Cody was like, "Because I told you guys that's some of the biggest disrespect you can do in the business. Touch another man's title. You know, touch his gold title." And Kevin Owens picked it up, and Cody's like, "Dude, we're not doing this." And Kevin gave it to him. You know, it's yours, bro. I'm just giving it to you. But Cody's just like, I know there was a message in that. So that was a good part too. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to look for some positivity to get us into Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes, because I know for most of us, it just still seems so not just awkward, so out of the blue, so random. There's the word I want. Random. Right? It's so random. But we're trying here, man. We're trying. This wasn't a horrible way to get us into Kevin and Cody. It wasn't the best, but what it is. LA Knight was up next. LA Knight cuts a promo top of the ramp promoting his U.S. title match against Santos Escobar next week. In case you're wondering, because yes, it's Rematch Mania, in case you haven't heard. Tonight was Rematch Mania. Next week's match will be their 6th encounter since WrestleMania. You want me to repeat that? I will. Santos versus LA. Their 6th time since WrestleMania. I think like one was like a triple threat. One may have been a tag, but one was definitely, I believe, a triple threat. But the bulk was all one-on-one. So, yeah, man. Rematch Mania. Just like WrestleMania is now 2 nights, Rematch Mania will extend to next week as well. Street Profits versus Hobby Lobby, or AKA DIY. Do it yourself. Yeah, any craft store will do. I guess you can call them Michaels or AC Craft and more. I'm going to stick with Hobby Lobby, right? The ultimate DIY store. Street Profits versus Hobby Lobby. All right. Oh boy, it's late. We made it to the end of the review almost, and BC's popping himself now. All right, where was I? Street Profits, Hobby Lobby, DIY. This was a good little title match, man. Or number 1 contenders match for the title. This was a good tag match. Crowd was jacked up, but they pretty much were the whole show. Could have went either way. Surprised they didn't have DIY win this thing, and just do the same match at Bash in Berlin. No harm, no foul, right? You already saw DIY lose to Bloodline, if they're going to lose back-to-back matchups. So I am surprised they had DIY lose again, just after dropping the titles to the Bloodline after just 28 days. So they did lose back-to-back. It was just from 2 separate teams. That's what happened. Montez pins Gargano and Street Profits win. So as I said in the cold open, the two scenarios aren't really the best, but they're the only two. Bloodline retains, and all this for the Street Profits was for nothing, just another title opportunity or another squander. Or Street Profits win, and you're literally the exact definition of hot potato in pro wrestling. That's what you're doing. You would have had 4 different sets of title holders in less than 2 months. From Waller in Theory, to DIY, to the Bloodline, to the Street Profits. 4 different sets of title holders, 8 champions, less than 2 months. I don't think there's any planet where you can do that. So how does Street Profits walk in and squander another opportunity? Good luck. I think maybe the way of thinking here, if the whole goal is to keep the titles on the Bloodline, and no matter who faces them, they're going to lose, maybe this was a way for DIY to save face and not lose against the Bloodline again. But having them lose immediately right to the Street Profits, that's not a good consolation prize. That may be even more detrimental. Good match, good for the Profits. Looking ahead, good luck booking this on Hearst Helmsley, because I don't see a way out of this one, man. I honestly don't. I don't see how this benefits anybody. But that's why they put on the shows, man. And I'll review them. I'm hoping it's done to perfection, and we can talk about how awesome it was. Truly, this is awesome. I'm hoping BC could tell you about all the awesome. The final segment was reserved for Roman Reigns' segment. Solo Sikoa calls out Roman Reigns. Roman takes out Solo and Tama Tonga. I believe it was Tonga out there, right? I think Tonga Loa was not there tonight. So it was just them two. Roman comes out, takes them both out. Right at this point, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Tonka Truck, doesn't matter who they bring in. I mean, they are just there to get their asses whooped by Roman. So Roman does the Superman punch to Solo, all that good stuff, even a spear, big spear on Solo. He gets that red tribal lay, Lufa. What do you call it? There's like a different name for it. It's not a traditional like tribal lay or lay. Luba, Jiffy Luba, I don't know, but the point is, I told you it's late. It's called something different. We're just going to call it a tribal lay. But he gets it, and he puts it back onto his own OTC, original tribal chief, correct? Is that what? I don't know. Usually with WWE, I call that out of thoughts and creativity. But we'll go with original tribal chief. He puts it on himself. His music plays, and he's looking up at the skies like the skies just opened, and he just christened himself with all the power. Like the Undertaker just got Paul Bear's urn. The tribal lay is where it belongs, and all of a sudden, wham, blink of an eye, snap of a finger, drop of a hat, super kick by Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu was in a boot, too. Well, that's not too fair. He got super kicked with a boot, a walking boot, because he's still injured. Jacob Fatu dismantles Roman Reigns afterwards. Solo gets in the ring. I think it was Tama Tonga who got in the ring afterwards as well. And they all triple powerbomb, a Shield-style powerbomb to Roman through the commentary table as we end the show. So again, the commentary table does not make it through another whole SmackDown yet again. And I do... A lot of people just want Roman to just get on the mic, say some words. Nobody even wants the physicality right now. They're saying save that. Just say some words, man. It's been so long. That's all you need to do. I believe they're holding back until Paul Heyman comes back. I really do. And you're starting to see Roman now get his ass whooped. And this will eventually bring in the Usos, or at least Jimmy, to his side. Jay will probably come farther down the line because he is from Raw. Then again, WWE doesn't really honor the brand split. So you could see Jay Uso just show up and nobody's going to bat an eyelash. Nick Aldis will just be like, huh? Wow, maybe that's just Jimmy. And he keeps walking. He just thinks Jay's Jimmy. But then he's going to see two of them and think, what? Oh, who cares? Because that's what WWE does, right? They turn a blind eye. Nothing gets explained. But I still feel like Jimmy will show up first. But I think Paul Heyman is not far behind. Once you saw Roman writing was on the wall. You can start counting the days that Paul Heyman is returning. And I think that's what they're waiting for. So before that, they're just going to have a lot of physicality. The thing is, at some point, Roman is going to have to get his ass whooped because the heels have to look like badasses at some point. You can't have Roman beat him up every single show. SummerSlam, he's whooping him. Last week on SmackDown, he's whooping him. Tonight, he's whooping him. So to end the show, it was actually good to see Jacob Fatu step up. And maybe he's the beast because Solo's is not it. Sorry, not sorry. I know a lot of you guys feel the same way as BC, no matter how much they are trying now to make Solo seem like the guy, like the top heel against Roman. It's not working. And you could easily go right back to the 41 matches in a row that he lost after he defeated Cena. And Hunter Hearst Helmsley put him on a 41 match losing streak. I'm sure that did not help him at all. But he's just not ready for it. He's good for what he was in the Bloodline. That was a great position. You're catapulting this guy to a spot where he has no business being in. And again, that's the utmost respect. He absolutely has a place in WWE. And a bright future ahead, no question. This ain't working. The hype to get to his Cody Rhodes match at SummerSlam definitely did not work. Anticipating and getting excited and intrigued to see Roman versus Solo? Absolutely not. That's why he got his ass handed to him tonight. Roman Superman punch, spear, Solo was out for 3 minutes. We've already seen it. We've already seen Roman take out the imposter one, right? The bootleg. Tribal Chief. We've already seen it. So why would we need to see a match now? Now we have to watch a 20-minute match just to see the what we just saw, a Superman punch and a spear, and this dude's out for 3 minutes? It's not Solo. I think what we all found out tonight, whether you knew it or not, is it's Jacob Fatu. He's the beast. And Roman versus Jacob Fatu is the money match. That's what we found out. If you didn't already know. All right, that's it. That is your SmackDown review, 8/16/24. Thanks for stopping by the coffee bar. BC is about to make a cappuccino now, a late night cappuccino. That's why I didn't have a coffee brewed up for this review. But don't worry, I had 3 during the show. So BC was plenty amped. And that's why this review was not short on time, I assure. I made sure I gave you guys a very vivid review, as I always do. But it's definitely cappuccino time. Guys, enjoy your weekends. You guys made this week another successful week on the channel, content-wise. So I am very, very happy to know that you guys enjoyed all of the content. And I'm ready to do it all again next week. So smash out your weekends. And next week, let's do it all again. Until that next time. And there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC in the unit. Saying check you. Peace.